Hi, I'm excited to share a simple yet powerful goal-setting tool that's been transformational in my life. About 15 years ago, I was introduced to the 10 questions by Claire Smith, my coach at the time, and every year since, it has become an annual ritual. Do I hit every goal every time? Oh no. I recall the first year I worked the 10 questions, I felt like I had struck gold, finally finding a tool to create meaningful personal and business goals. Most, if not all, of what I wanted to accomplish that first year didn't happen because of a breast cancer diagnosis. I'll admit, I had a brief pity party, and with Claire Ann's encouragement, I enrolled in my first coaching training program while I was in treatment for cancer. We can expect that we will be taken off course because of health, financial, work, or relational issues. We are resilient people. Before we dive into the questions, let's look at 8 reasons why most people avoid setting goals. Number 1, we don't know how to get started, or we struggle with what our goals should be, or we don't know what makes our heart sing. We don't want to fail and we fear change, and sometimes we're even afraid of success. 5, we want perfection or think others expect it and think we can't reach it. Or we don't know what tools we need to achieve our goals. We don't know how or what to measure. And then lastly, we don't have a network of encouragement, support, and accountability to recognize success. I cannot overemphasize how much it means to encourage and listen to each other. Research shows that only 3% of the population set goals and 1% write them down. In a recent study by Dr. Matthews, 267 participants were recruited from professional and business networking groups. They were divided into 5 groups. Group 1 set no goals and had no concrete plans. Group 2 set goals but didn't prepare a plan to execute. Group 3 prepared well-defined goals and plans to achieve. Group 4, same as Group 3, including sending goals to a supportive friend. Group 5 prepared well-defined goals and plans of action, then sent to a supportive friend together with a weekly report on progress. As you might guess, the 5th group accomplished significantly more than all other groups. The beauty of the 10 questions is that we get to start where we are today. The 5 goals of the 10 question process are to acknowledge and appreciate what happened last year, define useful lessons, create a positive internal focus, identify roles and goals, and the last one is figure out ways to put our plan into action. So let's get to it. In this first question, you will look back on the last 12 months of your personal life and your career. What do you feel good about getting done, no matter how small? Examples of accomplishments might include relationships, health, work, fun, and personal growth. You should write down everything that comes to mind. In addition to examining the good things, we have to be honest and acknowledge the disappointments as well. Once again, you're reflecting on the last 12 months and not your lifelong disappointments. Examples can be about health, relationships, work, and even money issues. It may be uncomfortable making this list, but you have to record the regrets, guilt, and disappointments of the last year. Okay, so here we're going to dig a little deeper and determine lessons learned. A lot of what we learn is the result of situations we find ourselves in, experiences that are both positive and negative. It may sound cliche, but it matters that we face our mistakes and also celebrate our wins. Question number 4. Now this question is worth spending some time on. In the previous question, the first example had to do with money and a growth in debt. Might a problem be an issue with retail therapy because it helps us feel good now? Ladies, when you become serious about making change, you have to look in the mirror and get real about why you keep making the same mistakes over and over again. And be courageous enough to do something about it. It may seem like this question is strange in a goal-setting exercise, but it's not. It's critical. Studies have shown that the more we align our core values and principles with our goals, the greater probability for success. Let's say you're a single woman and you've enjoyed your independence, but you're ready to find a companion. You know that all is not fair in love and war. So you're going to steer clear of married men, right? Because you place value on the institution of marriage. Let's look at another example. You really value being healthy, but over the past 2 years, you've struggled with managing the stress, and your clothes are a little uncomfortably tight right now. Your doctor prescribed blood pressure medication, and your blood sugar is elevated. Time for a change. Listed are a few negative drivers that can get in the way of making good decisions that are aligned with our values. So beware. Okay, in question number 6, we're going to switch gears and have some fun. For this question, you're going to identify the main roles in your life. I'd like to highlight the first 2 examples. Is there a new role you'd like to bring into your life? For me, playing the piano has been on my list for years. What about you? Taking care of me. Please make sure you identify this as a role. We women can tend to put ourselves on the back burner as we attend to the hundreds of other people, places, and things in our life. And now you're going to rate your level of satisfaction with each role you've identified on a scale of 1 to 10. And then please connect the dots. If you walk on water and are perfect in every single role, your dots would resemble the outline of the wheel representing a score of 10 all the way around. I haven't met that person yet. Think about what roles do you want to have a breakthrough in or simply do better in? For question 8, you're going to create goals for each of your roles. But before you get started, I want to offer a few important tips. You may have heard the term SMART goals. We're going to look at examples of SMART goals shortly, but first let's define it. The S means you need to be specific or precise about what it is you want to accomplish. The M is for measurable. Not every goal is measurable. Some goals are process-based and others are performance-based. The A stands for achievable. There needs to be a healthy tension between your goal being challenging and possible. You should feel like you have at least an 80% probability of making the goal happen. The R is a reminder to be realistic. Let's say you want to complete that degree you've been working on for many years this year, but between your job and home responsibilities, it might not be feasible. It'd be too stressful on the family to add 3 more classes into the mix. The T stands for time. You don't want to be a procrastinator, nor do you want to be overly ambitious about determining your completion date of a goal. And now let's look at a few examples of roles and goals that you will be recording to this question. In the first example, in the role of taking care of yourself, you decide that you need to immediately start the Mediterranean diet to address the health issues. Your labs were concerning during your last doctor visit. The second role of writer is something new. You've kept a folder of rough outlines for that book you know is inside you, and now you're ready to get serious with the publication. Next is your role as business owner. You now have several new employees, and you decided to implement monthly training modules, 12 total, to help the team succeed. The role of mom shows a process goal of being a better listener. It could be that your communication with the kids suffered during the pandemic with everybody being at home. Hopefully, you see elements of these goals having SMART characteristics. On to question number 9. Before you finalize your goals, you need to ask yourself a few questions. Does any goal conflict with any of my values? Am I willing to do whatever it'll take to achieve these goals? Are my goals realistic, achievable, and exciting? The final question must be asked. How can I make sure I achieve my goals? I want to warn you, you're going to feel really good after you've identified your goals. It's hard work. I need to share 5 things you can expect. You need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because in order to make progress, we have to be okay with change. Change in habit, change in mindset, change in routine. Being committed is everything. Once you've identified your goals, ask yourself if you are committed to doing whatever it takes to make it happen. If you cannot commit, the goal doesn't need to be there right now. So take it off. Expect false starts and detours. Sometimes life gets in the way. Remember my story of the first year I used this system? I was so proud to have completed my plan, but then I got sick. Being accountable to someone else can be the difference maker because we humans will let ourselves off the hook. When I set a goal today that feels a little scary, I talk about it. I share it with other people because then I become accountable, knowing that they will check back with me and ask me how things are going. Post your goals. Make them visible. Don't file them in a drawer. Look at them. Okay, the last tip is to chunk. Break down your annual goals into monthly chunks. Each month, you will want to determine what actions you need to take to make progress. I hope you have found value in our time together. Making time to think about what you want to create next, or expand, or eliminate in your life is worth the effort. As a grief counselor, I am reminded every day that our days are numbered. We're not going to live forever. Isn't it wise to make the most of our time in a way that aligns our dreams and goals with God's will for us? I believe the 10 questions can help accomplish that. By the way, the 10 questions are based on a phenomenal book written by Jenny Ditzler titled Your Best Year Yet. Thank you for being here, and I'd love to hear how the 10 questions work out for you. Send me an email at todayswomanfoundation@gmail.com.